Sofia Coppola, the far, far less talented offspring of one of Hollywood's greatest directors and cinematic minds of all time, Francis Ford Coppola, has an Apple TV show in the works. Oh, I'm sorry. Had an Apple TV show in the works. And before we get to why said thing got pulled, we might as well figure out what we are missing out on. Apple and Sofia Coppola developing adaptation of Edith Wharton's novel, Custom of the Country, for TV. What are we even talking about here? But this was announced in May of 2020. So we're just about 4 years on this one. We have nothing to show for it. Okay. Sofia Coppola has teamed up again with Apple to develop an adaptation of Edith Wharton's classic novel, The Custom of the Country. Well, to be fair, it might be classic. I've just never heard of this. I have no idea what we're talking about. This is the latest Apple TV Plus project for the Virgin Suicides director. And to be fair, she also did, Lost in Translation and Ruined, Godfather Part 3, who has also directed feature films On the Rocks, starring Bill Murray, Rashida Jones for The Streamer. Nobody heard of that. The project is being adapted with an eye towards a limited series order to be written and directed by Coppola. Yes, an eye towards, huh? Interesting. The story, which is often described as an inspiration for Julia Fellowes' Downtown Abbey, follows Undine Spragg, a Midwestern girl who attempts to ascend in New York City society. First published in 1913. Okay. It was Wharton's 9th novel and released just after she had finalized her divorce and moved permanently to France. Oh, great. So written by a bitter woman who's off to Europe. Fantastic. Hopefully nothing bad happens in the 20s and 30s in France. Having encouraged her parents to relocate to New York, Undine Spragg subsequently marries Ralph Marvell, a member of the old New York family with status but little money, before spending the rest of the book looking to trade up her husband's cheating, neglecting her young son, and even blackmail. Wow, I can't believe I missed out on such an inspirational, foundational classic, but it also looks like Apple is also going to be doing the exact same. Sofia Coppola says Apple pulled funding for the Custom of the Country series due to unlikable female protagonist. Guys, the world is healing. But if you felt so strongly about this entitled nepotism baby who was born on third base and thinks that she hit a triple, why don't you just simply make like your father's own work, his self-professed magnum opus, Megalopolis, and put up his own money? Do that for you. If you believe so strongly in your project, put up your own money. You've made a lot over the years. I'm actually looking forward to this because it's got a lot of big names attached to it. And, well, if Francis Ford Coppola actually believes in this and he's been working on it for so long, like the byline says, go mega or go home. Yeah, it's kind of a make or break situation. But not for Sofia. Not for Sofia, who's going to be super entitled about this. Sofia Coppola is opening up about why Apple canceled the Custom of the Country series. It wasn't so much that they canceled it, in so much as she developed a pilot. They looked at that and went, no, we ain't funding that nonsense. And she's like, well, why? I got canceled because, they just don't want a strong female protagonist. No, it's just they're all tired of girl bosses over there. So, rare W for Apple. The director was announced to be adapting the Edith Wharton classic novel. You can keep repeating that. It just doesn't necessarily make it any more true for Apple TV. But executives at the streamer seemed not to understand the female protagonist, calling her unlikable. Yeah, from the little synopsis that we just read, doesn't seem very likable at all. Apple just pulled out. They pulled our funding, Coppola said in an interview with The New Yorker. The series would have starred Florence Pugh as Undine Spragg. Oh no, not with all that star power attached to this. A Midwesterner desperately looking to infiltrate New York City's high society by using a down on his luck socialite to go ahead and climb that societal ladder. Yeah, I couldn't imagine why nobody wanted to go ahead and sign up for this. Coppola said that she went back and forth with Apple executives, which were mostly dudes during the development of the series. They didn't get the character like Undine. He's so unlikable. But so was Tony Soprano. You can go straight to hell if you're going to go ahead and besmirch the good name of Tony Soprano. Tony Soprano was very much a villain. He was very much an asshole in The Sopranos, but Tony Soprano was complex. Tony Soprano was, get this one, Unlikable, she continued. It was like a relationship that you probably should have gotten out of a while ago. Oh, somebody sounding like they're a little bit bitter. The only people in town that were going to go ahead and finance your vanity project just decided to go ahead and go, yeah, this is nonsense. We're not going to be wasting any more money on this. Oh my God, they just pulled the rug out from under me. They're just a bunch of sexists. It's just a bunch of dudes that are down there. They don't understand true art. Come on, man. The filmmaker said that the limited series would have consisted of 5 episodes with a budget the size of 5 Marie Antoinettes, citing her own film budget of $40 million. Yeah, they didn't want to waste that money on something that they knew would not return any profit. A rare streamer that actually has an eye for making quality products. Very, very strange turn of events. I thought they had endless resources, Coppola added. Yo, that just goes to show you that you weren't really concerned with doing anything good. You were just simply concerned with getting an easy paycheck. Yep, nothing like somebody who's just had an easy life telling on themselves, huh? Custom of the Country was first announced in 2020, with the director saying at the time, Undine Spragg is my favorite literary anti-heroine, and I'm excited to bring her to the screen for the first time. Coppola would move on to direct Priscilla. Oh, interesting. So you were developing the series, but then you didn't want to take it seriously and follow through with the production. I understand, and that's probably what Apple also looked at and went, you're not really taking this seriously, so why should we? A biopic based on the 1985 memoir Elvis and Me by Priscilla Presley. Kaylee Spaney plays the titular. Yeah, I don't really care about that. I just want to be a little bit more abreast of what your dad's doing, because, well, just kind of like your entire career. Oh yeah, you're Francis's kid. What's he up to? Well, he's working on this Megalopolis thing, and it could be coming out this year. Like, what's going on here? Although last year brought us major works of from master director Martin Scorsese, Michael Mann, William Friedkin, David Fincher, Christopher Nolan. Like, come on, like a bunch of big guys ended up releasing a bunch of good stuff, or a bunch of notable stuff in 2023. Now, one auteur's passion project we're still waiting for is Francis Ford Coppola's Megalopolis, a long, abhorring magnum opus from the 84-year-old helmer of The Godfather duology, Apocalypse Now, and Bram Stoker, not Stroker, that's a different one, Dracula. Megalopolis is a sprawling story about the ambitious young architect aiming to recreate New York City in the wake of a tragedy, loosely inspired on the Roman coup d'etat called the Catiline Conspiracy. Adam Driver stars as Caesar, the architect, alongside an eclectic cast featuring Aubrey Plaza, Forrest Whitaker, Talia Shire, of course, you gotta have a Godfather connection, and also a little bit more nepotism because Talia Shire is actually Talia Coppola, and John Voight, among others. Now, you look at that cast and you might think, well, that's quite a bit of star power, and it's also Francis Ford Coppola. Instead of getting turned down by studios, even though he does have an illustrious track record, Godfather 3 notwithstanding, he just decided, nobody wants to make my film. I believe in it enough. Fuck it. I'll put the money up. A history of these sorts of passion projects is mixed for everyone that pans out, like Scorsese's Gangs of New York. You have ambitious misfires like Terry Gilliam's The Man Who Killed Don Quixote and Darren Aronofsky's The Fountain. Yeah, okay. But even these projects are usually compelling additions to the creator's bodies of work. Below is one of the best of our abilities. What GQ is known for sure about Megalopolis, guaranteed to be one of 2024's most fascinating films, which, yes, will eventually get a release date. The fate of Rome haunts a modern world unable to solve its own social problems. The epic story of the political ambition, genius, and dangerous love. It's a pretty vague explainer, and the depictions have been shared in the focus of the partner of Driver's character, played by Natalie Emmanuel. Oh, right, that's Missandei from Game of Thrones fame in big air quotes, who is torn between her lover's progressive and ambitious beliefs about rebuilding the world's most famous city and the more conservative ideas of her father. Interesting. Filmmaker Mike Figgis, who has been shooting behind-the-scenes documentary about the making of Megalopolis, has described the movie as Julius Caesar meets Blade Runner. That's a weird conflation, but okay. which suggests an intriguing synthesis of futuristic urbanism and classical Roman roots at the heart of the plot. Combining romance and drama with a futuristic sci-fi bent is an intriguing proposition for Coppola, who's explored these genres individually, but never in a combined capacity like this. We already kind of know what it's based upon: the fall of Rome and then the rebuilding in the aftermath. Not something that's well explored in film, but very well detailed in history, so could be interesting. Who's set to cast? Yes, of course. Adam Driver, Aubrey Plaza, yes, Natalie Emanuel, Jason Schwartzman, Lawrence Fishburne, Forrest Whitaker, Giancarlo Esposito, John Voight, Dustin Hoffman. Yo, this is kind of crazy. Coppola's sister, yes, Talia Shire, whose terrific work in the Godfather trilogy netted her an Oscar nom in 1974. This is easiest to starriest cast for Coppola, who has had in a film since the 1997's The Rainmaker. Oh, really? He's a Marie team with a handful of performers like Shire, Voight, and Fishburne. One of his earliest film appearances as a young soldier on the boat in the ferries with Martin Sheen's Upriver in Coppola's Apocalypse Now. Who put up the money for this? Yep, Coppola's previous releases this century. The horror film Twix, the quasi-autobiographical Tetro, Fantastical Youth Without Youth were all made on modest budgets, but Megalopolis is a notoriously high price tag in the neighborhood of $100 million, which in reality, even if you just take a look at Marvel's recent output, $100 million isn't all that much. The kind of money normally reserved for big studio pictures, but Megalopolis is being produced independently by Coppola's American Zoetrope. So that just goes to show you, man, apparently the apple sometimes does fall fairly far from a tree, because the father believes in what he's doing so fervently, he is risking his financial legacy on this project. Meanwhile, his entitled daughter is just going to continue to whine and complain about her own failings in Hollywood. Well, if dad can't get you a job, well, I guess you can't get one on your own. You would have thought you would have learned after all these years, but guess not. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I should follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.